growing up, I was one of the youngest kids in the neighborhood, so I always had older friends. So my older friends were already into the drinking and partying scene, so I kind of fell into place. And it got to the point where I was 12 years old, I was already starting to drink on my own. When I was 15, I was definitely an alcoholic by that time, drinking any chance anywhere I got. When I was 17, I checked myself into rehab, and I was good in rehab. I stayed sober for almost a year, and while at that time I actually met my first girlfriend ever, and what happened was she cheated on me like 7 times, and the last time I couldn't take it when we finally split and broke up. The depression hit me so hard that I ended up relapsing, and I was drinking even more and more like crazy. But this time I was also starting to smoke a lot of pot and did some acid, and I was probably the last person in Michigan to ever do mescaline. But the only thing that was going good for me at this time was the band I played in. I've worked in metal bands my entire life, that's all I know. And the one band I was working with at the time, which are still around today, Graveyard Punks, you can check them out. We were partiers. We partied and we drank 24/7, smoked tons of pot. I'm telling you, if you ever want like free drugs and alcohol, start a metal band. When I was 23, I ended up, I got a DUI, and I stopped going to probation. And what happened was they ended up finding me about it a few months later, and they incarcerated me for about 30 days over that. Also at this time, being in Graveyard Punks, I ended up running into my ex-wife, who shall remain nameless. And her and I hit it off good, potheads, drinking all the time. And she was the one that actually bailed me out. She bailed me out of jail, and when I got out, I went to the band house and I realized I got kicked out of the band for this. But her and I hit it off real good. But she was a truant. She was in a halfway house just getting out of jail for attempted murder. And I already made a move over to Commerce, Michigan. Well, she left the halfway house and drove all the way up to Commerce on a bus just to be with me on Devil's Night. I knew she was in a shitload of trouble. So what we did is we packed up, and when I was 24, 1997, packed it up and we moved down to Florida. And this is where the second part of life begins. This was also my second attempt at sobriety. And this is where my son comes into the picture.